Tonight, government fires back at civil society groups who accuse it of sabotaging the office of the Special Prosecutor.
CSOs themselves are enjoined by virtue of the position they claim to hold in society to make demands and claims rooted in fact, in truth, and then in law. In this particular instance, in what way is the president involved in what is happening?
Well, Government Communications Minister Felix Kojo reviews the administration will soon start implementing the constitutional review recommendations, including writing an independent prosecutor into law.
The implementation committee will be announced very shortly to carry on with the process. So whatever defects exist with our constitution and our institutional arrangement can be addressed when we come to initiate the process for actual constitutional reform. So I think that we should all wait for that process to pan out, rather than prematurely making claims and apportioning blame where none exists.
We'll delve into these issues and more here on Top Story. And Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, connecting Energy's Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy Holy Sleep and by Short Pension Trust into the future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. This is also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and on ATL 100.5 in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrad, and several of our affiliates across the country. The government has hit back at civil society organizations, accusing it of undermining the office of the Special Prosecutor after a High Court ruling froze the OSP's prosecutions. The court ruled last week that the OSP cannot prosecute without authorization from the Attorney General, grinding ongoing cases to a halt. Now, 12 CSOs, including Imani Africa and CDD Ghana, are filing to join a Supreme Court case challenging the limits on the OSP's powers. They are saying that the OSP was duly, constituted and has the powers to prosecute. What the government needs to do is to give it that authorization. Now, speaking on PM Express, One Ghana Movement convener Sayon warned the Mahama government would pay at the polls in 2028 if it fails to defend the OSP.
Every single citizen must look at our constitution, must look at their policy making in light of that particular promise of delivering probity and accountability. And that's why it tells us to eradicate corruption. If we've created this, it may not be the perfect construct, but our value system should make us deliver a perfect construct. But what we are doing, our value system is actually doing the reverse. We want to be a people who must be told almost everything. We know what we want to achieve. It may not be so perfect in black and white, but our conduct and our management of it must deliver that promise to the people of Ghana. This country and the sovereign will of the people is where power resides. So please, 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 NDC, don't get overexcited about your popularity. It is conduct, unnecessary conduct like this that eradicate your popularity. You're popular today, it doesn't mean you'll be popular next year. It doesn't mean you'll be popular in 2 years. The success of last year's economy does not mean to the same success of next year's economy. It doesn't mean that Ghanaians will always be remembering that great work you did last year. People vote and people take decisions looking forward at their interests. When they start seeing you doing this, people start thinking that you want to come and loot. The loot that you came around to tell people, aura, you will now be the real aura. The Attorney General has been working. Look, I have followed his work. He's been managing it very brilliantly. And the two of them, he and Kisi is his student. I mean, Kisi is his mentee. We should have had a very perfect situation where we have an Attorney General and an OSP cooperate, share information, share skill, share knowledge on how to optimize this fight against corruption.
Now, CDD Ghana has also been serving notice that will be mounting pressure on government to begin implementation of the Constitution Review Committee's recommendations, which includes a proposal to establish an independent prosecutor. Jacob Tete is with the CDD.
We were hoping that the government would have itself taken the steps to start the process, but it's one of the things I know CDD submitted to the presidency when he held the meeting with the CSOs. That it is one of the things that is delaying, and we needed to take steps on it. So for sure, civil society, they have to reconsider this in order to push this agenda forward, because the delays are again as we see in this very case, if that has started, then indeed we are hopeful that this would have been resolved maybe before all this, whatever effect that we are seeing come about. So clearly, it is something I believe civil society would have to channel effort into to help. I mean, it goes to handle a lot of issues that, in terms of governance, in terms of all the sectors that we believe the Constitutional Review Commission has tackled. It's something that if we are able to go through with it, we are going to indeed see some very positive outcomes for our governance system. So I would accept that civil society will have to focus more attention on coordinated effort to get the government to initiate steps in getting the constitutional review proposals executed.
But Government Communications Minister Felix Kwasi has been speaking on this, and he called the attempt to blame government, quote, completely untenable, unquote, insisting President Mahama has always supported the office.
First of all, they have a lot of respect for the work of CSOs. But CSOs themselves are enjoined by virtue of the position they claim to hold in society to make demands and claims rooted in fact, in truth, and then in law. In this particular instance, in what way is the president involved in what is happening? So the OSP is prosecuting a Ghanaian. That Ghanaian goes to court, a court of competent jurisdiction, and challenges the authority of the OSP to prosecute him. He says that according to law, the OSP requires authorization from the AG to prosecute him. A court independently comes to the conclusion that the applicant's position is right, and therefore orders a specific action to be taken. How does CSOs then come to the conclusion that the president has anything to do with this matter when government is not a party to this particular matter? The president has on many occasions voiced his support and approval for the work of the OSP. Indeed, when the majority leader and the majority chief whip tabled a motion in parliament, a bill in parliament, to revoke the act of parliament which set up the OSP, the president publicly requested them to withdraw same, and same was done. The president said that the OSP needs to be given time and space to operate. So there is no dispute and doubt about the president's commitment to seeing the OSP succeed. There may have been public criticism and backlash against the OSP, but it has not stopped the president from publicly standing firm behind him and voicing support for him. But in this particular instance, it has nothing to do with the president. And that is why I said that the claims and demands of civil society must be grounded in truth, fact, logic, and the law. So it is quite unfortunate that they are making a claim which simply does not exist.
Well, Felix Kwasi also revealed that the implementation of the Constitution Review Committee recommendations will begin in the coming days. Among the recommendations of the Professor Prempeh's committee is for an independent prosecutor to be written into the Constitution. Listen.
The implementation committee will be announced very shortly to carry on with the process. So whatever defects exist with our Constitution and our institutional arrangements can be addressed when we come to initiate the process for actual constitutional reform. So I think that we should all wait for that process to pan out, rather than prematurely making claims and apportioning blame where none exists.
How long do we have to wait?
Oh, it will not be too long.
Not long is not a definite answer.
It will not be too long. I'm not able to give you a definite position. So I said that it will not be too long. So it will not be too long. When the processes are ready and the implementation phase is set to take off, same will be made public for the people of Ghana to be aware of.
So the implementation phase hasn't started yet?
No, a committee has to be set up for that to happen. And we are in the process of putting together that committee. So very soon it will be announced.
The this is still top story. Time for me to bring in Roxanne Nelson, the Fiamakbo, Majority Chief Whip, John Darkon, Legal Counsel Minority, and also MP for Swami. We are also joined by Dr. Kwame Asante, Senior Lecturer, University of Ghana. I'm grateful to you, Roxanne, for joining us here. Now, what do you make of the CSO's, battle, taking on government for what is happening to the OSP?
I think the call by this group of CSOs to, as it were, ask the president to speak on a matter that is potentially before the Supreme Court as we speak is for me constitutes an emotional blackmail. Absolutely. And I'm sure that there are lawyers amongst them. Even there are some who are not lawyers, but who are constitutional law scholars. Senor Jose writes more constitutional law than most lawyers. Is Senor Jose saying that the president should speak on a matter that is before the Supreme Court to say that he disagrees with the Supreme Court, or he agrees with the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court is even yet to speak? So what sort of call is this? Why? Why is it that there's this penchant to drag in John Dramani Mahama into every matter? I have been a defense attorney for a lot of people in criminal trials. And as defense attorney, your duty is to give the best of criminal defense to your client under law. If a lawyer is saying there's been a procedural impropriety regarding how the OSP is proceeding, you think that as a lawyer you shouldn't raise it? Shouldn't we be asking why the OSP is not acting in accordance with the law that the accused, the suspect whose lawyer went to court is raising? By all means, you can place a rival interpretation on a clause or a provision in the law. When that happens, only the courts can make a determination. Why are they asking the president to make a political pronouncement?
Well,
tomorrow they say that the president says no court, no court.
Well, the argument is grounded on the fact that in the run-up to the elections, there was a promise of the government dealing with corruption. And in our history, one of the organizations that really, or one institution that fulfills or tries to fulfill our ambition to deal with corruption is the OSP. And that's why they feel it's imperative that the president speaks.
Let me tell you, they are confusing the issues. If they are saying that we should quickly and with alacrity implement the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations so that the Constitution itself can create an office and imbue it with some independence so that it will not be holding to the Attorney General, that is a discussion we can all have. But under the present constitutional architecture, there's no independence in terms of the derivative rights for the OSP. It has to be authorized. It's the authorization that is the issue. Until that constitutional article in 88 is amended, there's nothing we can do. This matter came before Parliament. It was thoroughly deliberated and a decision was taken and the law was crafted in the manner that it's been crafted. So there's a procedure provided under law how the OSP should derive its authorization and proceed. If that has become a matter for judicial interpretation, let us wait patiently for the outcome. But to ask that you are calling on the president to speak when the president has indeed, you cited the instance. You cited the instance that myself and my boss, we sought to trigger a process to repeal the OSP Act. He told us publicly that no, he won't support us. Then the same CSO said that he was interfering in the work of MPs.
Okay, all right.
They said he was interfering in our work as independent organ of state. He was interfering in the work of Parliament. The same OSP's CSO, they accused GM of calling us to desist from proceeding with the motion. Why? Because he thinks that we should give OSP a second chance. Our case is that the OSP is not being productive.
Okay.
We are giving so much money to the OSP. It's not being productive, but that is not the issue.
Okay.
They should allow all of us to abide the outcome of the court's decision.
All right. I'm grateful. Do stay with me. Let me bring in John Dark, who is legal counsel for the minority and MP for Swami. John, where do you stand on this call by the CSO that the president ought to speak on this particular matter?
All right. Thank you very much. I believe that the CSOs are very right. Their call is in the right direction because the president has already inserted himself into the debate. He did that when my good friend, Honorable Roxanne Xenophobic, and the majority leader brought a bill to repeal the law. According to Opotu question, I think the president came out publicly telling us that he has instructed them. Look at the executive, say that I have instructed the legislature, the majority leader and his chief whip have instructed them to stand down on their bill. So you have a president who is commanding the legislature, his side, as to what to do. And he told them to hold on and that it was premature. So the president has already inserted himself into the argument by telling his team or his members of parliament to hold on with their planned repeal. And my brother, he knows, he was called by the president. And that's how the executive is controlling our legislature right now. But beyond that, what the president said was that they should hold on because it was premature. At the appropriate time, they were going to initiate steps, as it were, to dismantle this office. And that is why the president and his deputies, the president and his attorney general are in court right now. In fact, somebody has brought an action against the republic. The attorney general is supposed to defend the republic. The president's chief legal advisor, the president's lawyer, says that he agrees with the person who has brought this suit against the republic, and that he will not even allow the OSP to defend the matter. So really and truly, who does the Attorney General represent? He represents the president. So if it is the position of the president that the OSP Act is unconstitutional, as his Attorney General is saying, then the president should come out. And so if the OSP, if the CSO say that the president should come out and tell us his position, I think is a call in the right direction. The president has already told us that he wanted this to be done, but in December, he said it wasn't the time. He said it was premature. So maybe this is the time they had planned all along to bring this matter before the Supreme Court and then coordinate. Because how? How is it that the person who brought the action works with the Deputy Attorney General and works with the Chief Presidential Advisor? I mean, we cannot look at this anyway, but to come to a conclusion that this is a coordinated attempt by both the executive and a part of the legislature to strip the OSP of this power, to destroy the office, so that they will run away from accountability. It is obvious that the OSP has set its eye on the NDC and they don't want to be accountable, and that is why they are doing this. So the call by the CSOs, I believe, is in the right direction.
But John, just as Roxanne stated earlier, that when the president spoke on the matter involving he and his majority leader, there were comments that the president was controlling the legislature, and you've alluded to it earlier on. So why must the president speak on a matter that is before the court?
That's what I'm saying. He's been controlling them anyway, and his executive, his deputies, that is the chief legal advisor, he is at his beck and call, right? When the president wakes up tomorrow and he sees that the AG should go, the AG will go. The AG acts for and on behalf of the president. The AG is in court saying that the OSP Act is unconstitutional. So is that the position of the president? The AG is in court. The OSP office wants to defend the existence of the office. The AG says, no, I will not allow you to defend the existence of your office. I will defend you. And they only turn around to say that your office is unconstitutional. Is that the position of the president? Because for me, the fact that the Attorney General asked for the president, I would say is the position of the president. But for some people, they want to hear from the president himself. Just like he said
John,
when he told them that
John,
the bill was premature. I mean, for me, the only interpretation I could give to that statement was that they had appropriate time to strip the OSP of its power.
But I mean, you are a lawyer. When a case is before the court and one interferes, that prejudicial. Why do you expect the first gentleman of the land to do that when he understands what the law says?
Okay, so here's the deal. When a matter is before the court, nobody is supposed to comment on it. But you are not supposed to give, as it were, a direction as to where the case should go. We are commenting on it. We are free, we are all citizens. We can comment. Just like we are all commenting on it. The matter is before court. We haven't done anything wrong. If it's a comment like we are all making, of course there's nothing wrong with it. If the president comes out to say that for him, he believes that the OSP's office is a constitutionally established office and it has all the authority to work, it will be a good comment, and then we will all work with it. I don't think that, because he's done it before, when the matter was before Parliament, he called the people, he called the Parliament and the majority leader to stand down. So if he can do that, we want to hear from him. Or we take it that his response is what the Attorney General has filed. And then we can run with it that the president is saying that the OSP office is unconstitutional because why? The AG asked for and we have of the president. So if the president won't talk, that's fine. Nobody obviously can force him to talk. But we can come to one conclusion that this is the position of the president.
All right, do stay with me. Let me bring in Roxanne Nelson before we again. Roxanne, I'm grateful for joining us again. Now, if you listen to the OSP per their letter, they say, and I quote, this step was seen as a first step to fully implementing the objective of creating the role of an independent public prosecutor when a constitutional review process came around. It also fulfilled Ghana's obligations under the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. They state all of that. Why do you think that they don't have the right to say if all of these actions that are happening are against the OSP, it goes against our obligations under this agreement, and therefore the president has to speak?
Not at all.
Okay.
I am disappointed in John Daku, my roommate. John has been my roommate in law school, faculty to Mokola. So we are very close. We are brothers. We are not even friends. And John is saying, is John comparing the issue about Parliament, which is a political organ, to an issue before the Supreme Court? John, even when the president spoke to us to discontinue the matter, people like you complained that you actually alluded to the fact that he's already controlling Parliament. What would you have said, or what would you say tomorrow if the president speaks and it's in discordance with what the Supreme Court will say tomorrow? So this sort of analysis is problematic, John. That is not law. You are not talking law. Let us talk law. Even the Constitution forbids Parliament from discussing any matter that is sub judice. And this matter is sub judice.
No, but Roxanne, I'm coming. I'll give you the space.
Please, let me address the matter. And yet you are on radio insisting that the president must be called upon to speak to a matter that is sub judice.
Well, Roxanne, but I mean, to be fair to the CSOs, they are not asking the president to speak on the specific matter in court. They are asking the president to state his position on what they see as attacks on the OSP, something they believe is what we did in fulfillment of, our obligations under the African Union Convention on preventing and combating corruption.
Now, if the president is not interested in sustaining the office of the OSP, how did he allocate in excess of 155 million Ghana cedis for his work in 2026? If the president is not committed. So it is not even an argument. It's not even a question. The president, again, when he called upon us to withdraw our motion, the president spoke and stated his commitment to making sure that the OSP office operates properly. How else do this CSO expect him to speak? My worry is that they are asking him to speak at a time when the matter is before the Supreme Court. What he said 2 months ago, how different would he be if he speaks again? Except to create some mischief or cause public disaffection for him and his government. That is why I'm saying that it is total emotional blackmail. Be as it is. Nobody is saying that the OSP be proscribed. That is not what is before the court. What is before the court is whether or not the OSP can, on its own volition, proceed to initiate a matter or prosecute a matter without first seeking authorization from the office of the Attorney General? Or is that not what is before the court?
Yeah, but there's another one which is challenging the creation of the office itself. Not so.
So let the Supreme Court pronounce on it. How? How is this? Why is this a difficult matter? How is it? I've been to court like more than 10 times on constitutional matters. Let's give the court the opportunity to pronounce an office created by Parliament, and somebody will say it's unconstitutional. If it's unconstitutional, then it means that the Constitution forbids the creation of such an office. But I don't think that is the issue at all. I don't think that is the issue, because Parliament has the power to enact laws to create statutory bodies. The issue about the procedure provided under law as to how the derivative mandate should be tackled. That is what I think is before the court. But let us allow the outcome of the court. Then we can all discuss the matter. But this public call by a coalition of the CSOs I'm very, very disappointed, because some of the key spokespersons of this coalition are well-known figures, and their learning in constitutional law is above average.
Okay, all right. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you, Roxanne Nelson, Defense for joining us. He is the Majority Chief Whip in Parliament. Let me bring in Dr. Kwame Asante, Senior Lecturer, University of Ghana, on this. Okay, let me see if John, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. So, I mean, Roxanne is talking about law, that once the case is before court, let's wait and hear what the Supreme Court will say before the president comes out. He's right, not so.
Look, but see, the fact that the matter is before the Supreme Court, right, I believe enjoins everybody to wait and just the outcome of the Supreme Court decision. I don't think that it bars the president from speaking about whether or not he believes in the existence of the CSO, of the OSP. But again, the point must be made is that this whole suit before the Supreme Court, I think my brother failed to realize that there's one that is challenging the constitutionality of the office, and that is what the Attorney General has gone to say that he agrees with that plaintiff's position. Yeah. And I'm saying that if the Attorney General asks for it on behalf of the President, and the Attorney General is saying that he agrees that the establishment of the office is unconstitutional, then it stands to reason that is the position of the President. If it's not the position of the President, at least the President will be able to tell us. Okay? And especially, as I said earlier on, if you look at the fact that the person who brought the suit worked with the Deputy Attorney General and the Chief Presidential Advisor, Joyce Mutare-Bawa, for me, it speaks volume, okay, that this suit, which the AG has refused to defend, is coming from this office. It looks, for anybody who is standing outside, it looks to be a coordinated attempt by the Deputy Attorney General and his staff to bring this matter, and then the Attorney General goes, instead of defending the interest of the state, which is to protect the existence of this institution, the AG goes and says that I've submitted to judgment, I believe that you are right, and that the establishment of the office is unconstitutional. Look, we want to fight against corruption, and that is why this office was set up. When this office was being set up, the AG's office was there. We knew Article 88, and when Section 4 of the Advice 95 came out, we knew nobody had challenged this provision for the past 7 or 8 years. It is only after the OSP went after the NDC members that is when this whole Duha has started. And so clearly it says that this is a government that doesn't want the OSP to exist because they feel that the OSP office is going after its members. That is the only reason why, for us, we are fighting for this office. Because look, the NDC, when President Mahama was in the position, he actually said he was going to strengthen this office to fight corruption. When the NDC came to power, in the first 1 year, they were happy that the OSP was doing this work, going after NPP members. They were happy. The only reason why they are fighting against the OSP right now is because it started going after its members. And that's when my brother and the majority leader decided that the office shouldn't even exist. And they claimed that the continuous existence of the office was untenable. This is the only reason why. And so for me, all these things about, it's in court, let's look at it, let's wait, there's no heart in it. It is political. They have decided that instead of using the law to repeal the act, they would rather go through the back door. The NDC, they are saying that there are many ways of killing a cat. You remember what their former chairman said? That is exactly what the NDC are doing, because they realize that if they go the line with my brother, the majority TV and the majority leader were going, the backlash was going to be heavy. So President tells them, look, guys, this is dangerous.
All right.
Hold on, this is not appropriate. Let's use the back door. And that's what we are doing.
I'm grateful, John. I'm grateful to you. John Dako is legal counsel for the minority in Parliament and also MP for Swami. And that's how we wrap up Top Story. Up next is Newsnight.
And tonight, Environmental Protection Authority's final warning to Ghana's big miners. Stop galamsey, own your land or lose your license. Meanwhile, the push to localize Ghana's mining sector gathers pace, with a deadline set for expatriate involvement to wind down by the end of 2026 or face sanctions, as the ministry and minority backs government's position.
Passing the airline in the year 2020 for us to go that way, so that we can have a retention in terms of expertise, training of them here, and even Ghana owning portions of how these mines and the resources are being mined in our country. So it is not a new thing.
We'll hear from the mining firms.
Because I have to win the next game, and I have to win the next game, and I have to win the next game.
That's the new Black Stars coach, Quiros Carlos, set the tone as the Black Stars unveiling in Accra today. Results over style, he says.
I leave these things for you because you are the press. With my players, I only tell one thing. It is, we have the ball, we have to attack. We don't have the ball, we have to fight together.
With 49 days to the World Cup, the Portuguese tactician admits time is short, but insists he'll build a team to fight at the global showpiece. Details on his blueprint and whether Guineans will accept ugly wins. Also coming up in business.
Finance Minister reveals Ghana's reset agenda hinges on financial health as a Mr. United Nations Secretary General Special Advocate for Financial Health.
And a bit later, calls for tough diplomatic sanctions against South Africa intensifies following attacks on Guineans, with analysts calling for stronger measures, including possible expulsion of envoys and coordinated action by the African Union and ECOWAS.
If Ghana expel, Nigeria expel, West Africa together we expel, I'm sure they will sit up. And I support the minority call. It's appropriate. And even African Union, I even take the African Union, can even suspend South Africa membership because it's betraying the unity of the continental body.
More as Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister provides an update on the status of investigations following the attack. The latest of these and many other stories are coming up in the next 60 minutes. You can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 1111 997. I'm Kenneth Gyasi. Details after this.
See, I beg, fix me Gov't Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination.
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, if you get your own data and call packages, falla! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want town. That *530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, I sleep.
Holy Mosquito Coil, Holy Multi-Purpose Insecticide Spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Did you know that Ghana's Children's Act, Section 91, clearly says,
no person shall engage a child in exploitative labor.
That means children must not be made to do work that deprives them of the education, health, or development.
Hazardous work,
that is not allowed. Working in stone quarries, carrying heavy loads as kayaye, hawking on busy streets in the scorching sun, being used as domestic servants in homes, or diving into dangerous waters to untangle nets, rowing canoes for hours under the hot sun, and working all day without food or rest.
Yet, too many of our children are trafficked from towns and villages across Ghana to the shores of the Volta Lake, trapped in fishing boats, robbed of their childhood, and exposed to danger every single day.
Human trafficking means the recruitment, transportation, harboring, or trading of persons within and across national borders for purposes of exploitative labor.
I want to go to school, but now I only work.
This is child trafficking.
It is a crime.
It is against the law, and it must stop now.
Parents, guardians, community leaders, protect our children.
Report suspicious movement of children and do not give your child away to strangers promising jobs.
Together, let's end child trafficking now.
This message is brought to you by the International Justice Mission with support from the National Commission for Civic Education.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move! Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Good evening. The Environmental Protection Authority is threatening to crack the whip on mining firms, issuing a final warning to concession holders to stop illegal mining encroachment and environmental pollution or risk having their permits revoked. The directive comes amid growing concerns over violent incursions by illegal miners into large-scale concessions in recent years, with several companies reporting attacks on sites, destruction of equipment, and disruptions to operations, but the EPA now insists responsibility ultimately lies with concession holders, warning that companies will be held accountable for any environmental damage originating from their concessions, whether caused directly or through illegal activities. We'll hear from the Chamber of Mines shortly, but first my colleague Michael Ashali joins me in studio with details from the EPA's latest directive. Michael, first of all, the EPA says it is concerned. Why is that?
So the EPA says that it is deeply concerned in that statement about the increasing incidence of illegal mining activities taking place within legally acquired concessions. It goes on to say that according to the authority, they say that these activities are causing significant environmental harm, including pollution of water bodies, land degradation, and the destruction of forest reserves. But beyond the concern, the EPA is now shifting responsibility directly to the mining companies, as you have already said. It says concession holders are under a statutory obligation to protect and properly manage their operational areas. That means they must secure their concessions against illegal miners, put in place effective monitoring and surveillance systems, and also promptly report any unauthorized activity to state authorities. They are also being directed to strictly comply with all environmental permit conditions, including their environmental impact statement and management plans, and to ensure that no form of pollution originates from their concessions. And the warning is clear, Kenneth. Failure to do so will be treated as a breach of their permit conditions, and EPA says it will not hesitate to suspend or revoke environmental permits, impose administrative penalties and also take enforcement action in collaboration with the security agencies. On top of that, the authorities announcing that they will soon be doing a nationwide compliance monitoring exercise starting on the 10th of May 2026 to assess whether mining firms are meeting these requirements, essentially putting all operators on notice to clean up before inspections begin.
Thank you, Michael. Ken Ashigbe is the CEO of the Chamber of Mines and is joining me on the telephone lines with more. Welcome to the program, Mr. Ashigbe. Has this come to your attention, and what is your immediate response to it?
Well, I think it's very recent. I had a conversation with one of your colleagues, and that's when, this press statement, it's a public notice, came to our attention. And I've tried reaching out to the Chief Executive of the Environmental Protection Authority, to discuss this. And, I think that in terms of our response, it's good that the regulator, is, taking this up. Because the interesting thing is that if you look at the statement that was issued in terms of the responsibility of the mining firms, about the invasion of our various concessions and what it is that we're doing about it is public notice. If you read their statements, all mining companies are hereby required to promptly report any unauthorized or illegal activities within their concession areas to the relevant state authorities. That we do. We report them to the EPA themselves. We report to Minerals Commission. We go to the ministers. We've gone to various ministries, support from the presidency, support from national security. It results in us getting military presence, on some of our concessions. And there are things that we have been doing as mining companies that, I can give you a typical example of the issues around cyanidation that happened at Asanko, which had to take the EPA working together with our members to be able to avert, the challenges. There are issues where you have illegal miners sitting on the tailing dam of particular mines. We report that. And so we are hoping that as, the EPA comes in to do this, then, some of the actions that we're hoping that the state will be able to take, they will be able to do. Because, again, as a mining firm, when it comes to the issues of law enforcement, because some of this, that's where it ends up. The obligation is for the state to be able to do. And when you have reported all of that, it becomes a challenge. We all know that there's issues where there are encroachments that are taking place.
Right.
And we normally would require the support of government. So once the EPA comes themselves and they see it, hopefully, then as an authority, they would also then, because a lot of the things that they're talking about, most of them they know about, then they will be able to then intensify how they help us all to be able to deal with the issue.
Now, the big question now is, will mining firms be able to ward off illegal miners?
Pardon?
Will mining firms be able to ward off illegal miners?
Well, what we do as mining firms, is that you definitely would have your own private security, but because of the challenges that are involved, through the chamber, we have agreements with Ghana Police, to be able to support. And there are situations where we even have to bring the military in, to be able to support. So we depend on the state, because the issues, when it comes to the issues of criminality and enforcement of law, we all know that in Ghana, it is the duty of the state to be able to do that. And, no mining firm would be able to arm its own security in all of that. And in all those situations, what you need to do is to be able to rely on state. And I'm sure it's the reason why Prof, in her statement, put out the C, which says that promptly report any unauthorized or illegal activities within your concession area to the relevant state authority. And that we have been doing. That is, public knowledge that it's something that as mining companies were constantly doing. And so we are hoping that as the Minerals Commission comes around, the EPA comes around, they will be able to support us, to be able to get rid of the illegal activities. And the good thing, again, that is happening at this time is this is a time where you have one person being the minister responsible for the EPA and also the same minister responsible for the Minerals Commission. And so it will be the same person we will be talking to as the EPA comes to do this. And hopefully we, working together with the regulatory bodies, will be able to deal with the issues of illegal mining activities which happen around us. And some of them are as old as, Methuselah, which we have reported to, these regulatory authorities, and some of them, the regulatory authorities have been helpful. Others are still pending, and we need, hopefully as they come and we deal with that, we will be able to resolve these issues.
I want you to hold on for me. Don't go yet, because we've also been hearing from the Deputy Ranking Member on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee and MP for Minsha North, Akwesi Kunedu, who says the directive is not new and is in compliance with an existing legislative instrument.
Ghana in the year 2020, under the former administration of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, passed an LI, that is the LI 2431. That is the Minerals and Mining Local Content and Local Participation Regulations of the year 2020. We stipulated, amongst other things, a localization process or program that will require all mining companies in this country to follow. And it primarily gives a 6-year period for all of these things to be done. This whole idea is not a new idea. It is an idea that has existed from the year 2020 till now. And almost all the mining companies in this country, almost, I say almost because with the exception of 2, if you go to Anglo Gold, Ashanti, Aduapre mines, all of these mines have local participation in those mines in terms of even as to what you can bring in, the number of expatriate workers that you have to bring in, clearances. With the exception of only 2 mines that were left. That is the Ahafo and the Achim mines that were being operated by Newmont. Those are the only 2 mines. And with that 2 mines, even the Achim mines now is under the operations of Xinjiang. This has existed with us passing the LI in the year 2020 for us to go that way so that we can have a retention in terms of expertise, training of them here, and even Ghana owning portions of how these mines and the resources are being mined in our country. So, Kwaku, it is not a new thing.
Akwesi also says the Ghanaian firms have the qualification to handle the mining operations of these firms.
You see, this whole idea was that we wanted to deepen and enhance through local participation. If you want to even bring in an expatriate worker, you would have to go and seek qualification from the Minerals Commission. And let me give you a classical example. If you look at Schedule 1 of the LI, the first schedule of the LI, it gives the categorization. And they have unskilled labor, you have skilled labor, you have clerical, you have technical and supervision, you have management in terms of even numbers. At commencement, unskilled labor, you are not supposed to have any expatriates in that. Skilled labor, you have only 10%. Clerical, you have only 5%. And by 2 years' time after operations, they all have to be 0%. When you go to technical and supervision, 5% up to the 2 years, and from the third and fourth year going, 0%. And up to the senior management level, you have a maximum of only 2, regardless of whatever positions that they are. So if there are 100, you have only 2. So yes, and in Ghana, if you have an open or a surface mining, it must be 100% Ghanaian who would have to go into the excavation and all of them.
That's Akwesi Kunedu. He's the Deputy Ranking Member on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee in Parliament. I still have Ken Ashigbe, who is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, on the telephone lines with me. Mr. Ashigbe, I'm going through the statement that has been released by the EPA, and it's very categorical. It says that the authority emphasizes that failure to protect concession areas or prevent illegal mining activities constitutes a breach of environmental permit conditions in accordance with the Environmental Protection Act 2025. The EPA will, where necessary, suspend or revoke environmental permits given to you and also impose administrative penalties and take enforcement actions in collaboration with relevant state and security agencies. So this is really an order to you that if you don't do it, your license could effectively be revoked. Is that something that the firms are willing to do?
You see, the thing about it again is that, so you when you're reading these documents, don't read them in part. it is not for nothing that the EPA in their thing talk about, when you have some of these encroachments happening, the thing you need to do is to bring it to the attention of the relevant bodies who have to do it. So if there's a mine there's a particular issue happening and they reported it to the police, they reported it to the Minerals Commission, they reported it to the EPA. The EPA is not going to come and say they are going to, and the people are still persisting. They are not. The EPA is not going to come and then not consider all of those. As responsible miners, it is one of the tenets, of responsible mining, that when you have any illegal activity on your concessions, you need to do what you have to do. What some of the things you have to do is that are some of that you can do yourself, that we do. There's some of them that you have to rely on, on government to be able to do for you, the local authorities, and be able to escalate it. So I'm pretty sure that in all of this that the EPA is going to do, it is going to look at all of that. Have you brought all of these activities to the attention of the relevant authorities? What are the steps that you have taken? There are things that we do. I can tell you of situations where some of our mining firms have gone, they've seen some illegal activity, they'll go fill up, some of these leaching pits that these people would do. You take those activities, so they take those actions, and because of that, your workers are going home and they are stoned. But it doesn't say that you still should not do that. And one of the things you will see in a mine is that all of these things are documented and are reported back to the regulators. So I definitely am pretty sure that, when with the EPA, with what it is that they have issued, the statement they have issued, we will work together with them and we would engage, them as well. The interesting thing is that before they would come, be getting into some of these concessions, they will be going to areas that that illegal, that are not part of the concessions, that are illegal activities are happening and all of that. And we all need to find ways as being members within the same ecosystem to be able to resolve the issue of illegal mining. That confront us. So we welcome that, but it's important to also put that the two issues you're discussing, the tapes you played,
right,
and the issue of the EPA are completely different.
Yes,
because I think what the tapes you played was something to do with local the local content legislation.
Perfectly understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So coming to that, you were given a 6-year period to ensure that local firms handle some of these critical issues, including technical and supervisory, management, clerical, skilled labor, unskilled labor. Is that something that has been able to be done?
Today, I'm not sure whether multimedia you were at the launch of the Ghana Standards for Grinding Media. So for us as an industry, the issue of localization is something we take very seriously. And the chamber has, worked together with the Ghana Standard Authority, with the CEO of the Ghana Standard Authority was present at the launch. The CEO of the Minerals Commission was present at the launch, where the chamber has developed standards so that grinding media, a very critical input for mining, instead of importing them from outside, is manufactured here and we buy it. So the issues around local content and the things to do is something that we're doing. Currently, after 2024, the industry had 99.4% Ghanaians who work in them. So in terms of making sure that you have Ghanaians, running all of these mines, those are things that, we, abide by. And on the issues of some of the local content things, there are engagements that are currently going on, between the chamber, our members, and the Minerals Commission.
Mr. Shigbe, we understand that some of your members have asked for an extension. Can you confirm that to us?
Again, so that's what I'm saying, that these are conversations that are going on. And again, I think it's important that Reuters as well, as a credible media organization, they don't go on those sensational angles. If you ask the CEO for the Minerals Commission, those conversations are going on, because these things, they take, when you're going to transition from owner mining to the steps that you take within that, and as you do all of that, you need to look at the legal frameworks that govern that, and so it is based on that those conversations are going on. And I can tell you, yes, today I've been having those conversations with the Minerals.
Right. Speaking of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Shigbe, thankfully we have Ben Mensah, who is the director for local content at the Minerals Commission. Welcome to the program. How has compliance been? The 6 years period is up. Hello, Mr. Mensah. Can you hear me?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to Newsnight. Ben Mensah, do I have you?
Yes, you have me online.
Right. I'm asking about the local participation. There was a 6-year period that was given and it is up. And I'm asking, has compliance been effective?
Yes, I must say compliance has been effective. But as usual, you have some people, some organizations that will fall short of full compliance. Yes.
Who are those organizations?
You want me to mention their names on air?
Yes.
All right. So I'll give you some examples. First of all, let me say a very good evening to our listeners. And to start off, let me say we have, since we passed the law, we have made some enforcement effective 2022. We indicated that the mining itself, we don't want it to be owner mining. It must be contract mining, of which a lot of companies, most of the mining companies have complied. In 2025, we came strongly to say that, look, this thing is prohibited. And we further went ahead to say that, look, even when it comes to underground, previously we said we'll give Ghanaians 30%. We are at a stage where we think we have built capacity, and so Ghanaians can do a 50-50. So underground mining, yes, we accommodate, some joint venture between Ghanaian companies and foreign companies. But for surface operations, the law is clear that it must be Ghanaian directors and Ghanaian shareholders who must conduct that surface mining. Most of the mining companies, except about 2 or so that have not complied. Some of the companies have complied.
Right.
The only difference is that there is a joint venture in that aspect, and I can use one company, Gov't, as an example. They came to tell us that, look, we should give them time to transition from the current joint venture. And they asked for 1 year. We negotiated with them, we sat down, and we all agreed on a 6 months period. And the 6 months is ending in December this year. And so from December this year, we expect that to transition fully to a local entity, a local company contractor.
Ben, so what happens if they breach the 6-month lifeline you've given them?
Come again?
You've now given them additional 6 months, right?
We've given them additional 6 months.
Yes. What happens if they are unable to meet it?
From 2022.
Yes. What happens now if they are unable to meet it? Hello?
Oh, your line is dropping a little bit.
I'm asking, will there be any sanctions if the extended deadline is not met by these companies you mentioned?
Of course, there will be sanctions. Yeah, there will be administrative penalties if they unless there are justifiable reasons. But where we sit, we feel that they are clear in their mind with all they've given us a plan with their transition, and so we believe that they will not flout on the laws. They will comply with the estimated time that they've given us up to December 2026.
Okay.
Add that there are some companies that are still doing owner mining, even though we have reached out to them. Last year, somewhere around October, we wrote to 2 companies, Newmont and Xenophobic, that they should transition from owner mining to contract mining. They have responded and have come to negotiation table, giving us a plan as to when all these are going to happen. So, yes, those who have not complied fully, they've come back to the table, written to us to go ahead and comply. So,
right, Ben Mensah, thank you very much. He's the Director for Local Content at the Minerals Commission. I still have Ken Ashigbe, who is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, on the line with me. Mr. Ashigbe, Ben Mensah has corroborated largely your point that most of the companies have complied with the directive, but now there's a 6-month extension for the few ones who have been unable to do so. Fair?
Again, we need. It's good Ben was talking about the issues of law, and definitely for us as the industry, we are very much aware of that. If you look at the Parent Act, what the law says and what the subsidiary legislation says, it's something that is there. And again, it's in the spirit of the fact that for us as an industry itself, some of the issues in terms of even local content, some of them have been things that the industry itself has championed. And so in terms of the spirit of it, it's something that we agree. And then also Ben then told you that sometimes the exigencies of the situation would require sometimes a longer period to be able to do some of the things that you do because of the issues they are dealing with. Is the reason why in all of this regulation, it's collaborative regulation, and it's conversations between the operators and the regulator, and we're hoping that we'll be able to ensure that in terms of complying, we're able to do that seamlessly. There are no challenges,
right.
There are no disruptions and all of that. And those are conversations that we continue to have. Recent letter that the Minerals Commission even wrote, to some of these mines to say that if there are any challenges, we revert back to them. So definitely we're going to go back to, in that conversation to ensure that, what again the industry has been championing, working together with the regulator, we are able to achieve.
Ken Ashigbe, thank you very much. The CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Earlier we heard from Ben Mensah, who's the Director for Local Content at the Minerals Commission. New Black Stars head coach Carlos Queiroz has issued a blunt directive ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Results over style. Speaking at his unveiling in Accra today, he said his immediate job is to deliver results, not romance, with just 49 days to prepare.
Thanks to your questions, because not only I trust myself and my staff, but watching the pool of players that Ghana have, the talents, I am sure and I am confident that I believe that we can assemble a good team, a great team to perform on the pitch. Not always, and you also touched that a little bit in your question, not always a group of special talent players they can be in the pitch as a great team. But it is exactly why I am very much confident, because my goal and my target it is from today on to make our players understand that if we play together, if we play with the right mentality, if we play as a team, one Ghana, we can beat any opponent in this world.
That's the new Black Stars head coach, Carlos Queiroz. We wish him all the best. Well, let's bring you some more stories this evening, because calls are intensifying for tough diplomatic sanctions against South Africa following xenophobic attacks targeting Ghanaians, with nationals in the country raising safety concerns and demanding urgent government intervention. Pressure is already mounting for direct high-level engagement, with analysts urging President John Mahama to reach out to his South African counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa, to demand stronger protection for Ghanaian nationals. We'll hear from the international community shortly, but first, let's hear from Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa.
We continue to believe that it is only when Africa unites that Africa's full potential will be realized, as our founder, the Osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, said. So it is really regrettable that at this time, when we've won such a huge victory at the United Nations, the Global South has come together, all Africans, people of African descent have come together, 123 countries sending a clear message against the transatlantic enslavement of our forebears, that in this modern era, we will see such hatred, such xenophobia against each other, against Africans. It is totally unacceptable, it is condemnable, and we will do everything as a government to protect our nationals and to make sure that we demand from the South African government to protect our citizens and to keep them safe, because they owe them that duty of care. Just as we will continue to make sure that all South Africans living in Ghana are safe, are protected, and we will not encourage any reprisal attack. We will condemn it, and we will not even contemplate it.
That's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and head of Foreign Affairs and Diplomatic Desk here at Joy News. Blessed Soga is joining me in the studio with more. Blessed, in the last few days, what have your sources been telling you concerning this worrying development?
It's not a good picture looking at what's happening in South Africa now, with diplomatic channels indicating that the situation is fast escalating. So you have areas like the Eastern Cape Province and also KwaZulu-Natal being some of the flashpoints. Many thought it was a far-fetched incident, only for us to see that viral video in which a Ghanaian was being harassed by some individuals. Is the reason for which many Ghanaians now are demanding action. That individual, the said victim, we understand, has been identified. Footages have gone out with interactions between the High Commissioner in South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, and of course that individual who's said to be the victim also being interacted with. So it's a clear indication now that the Ghanaian government will now want to escalate this to the South African government. So immediate actions will follow.
Thank you very much, Blessed Soga. That's the head of Foreign Affairs and Diplomatic Desk here at Joy News. Benjamin Kwashi is Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa. He's joining me on the telephone lines right now with more. Mr. Commissioner, welcome to the program. We've seen you in footages available online speaking to one of the victims of the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. What is the latest out of these attacks, unfortunate attacks that have happened?
Well, thank you very much. A very good evening to you, and another good evening to our listeners. I've listened to the head of your diplomatic desk, Blessed Soga, and I would want to reiterate the fact that we're doing everything possible to resolve the issue. It is fluid. We understand that the stakes are high, but what I can tell you is that through the diplomatic channels and working under the leadership of His Excellency President John Mahama, and also through our very able, Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, we've been able to make progress. We've met with some of the victims, we've met with authorities here in South Africa, and they've been very open and cooperative with us. As you are aware, there was a major demonstration that happened in Mpata. It's in the Eastern Cape Province. What happened was that we had a very good delegation with the mayor of the area. The mayor invited the chief of police also to join that meeting. We agreed that they have to do everything possible to protect the interests of the Ghanaian people and to ensure that we don't have the situation where Ghanaians' properties and lives are vandalized and lives taken for granted. They listened to us. They ensured that the demonstration went on. It was very, very peaceful. They asked us to speak to our Ghanaian counterparts here so that they don't open up their businesses as we try to find a balance between what is happening and how to continue operating our businesses in this country.
Mr. Commissioner, beyond meeting some of the affected residents in South Africa, what else is the High Commission doing to ensure that they are adequately protected?
So we've issued out a lot of advisory notes. We use our consular officers to be able to see where we believe that the good people of Ghana are not safe and secure in. We've given them consular advice, as we've also indicated to them that once we pick up any intel, which we get regularly from the South African authorities, we share with them so that they stay at home, they don't go opening their business. And I can tell you that it has helped to this extent so far. No Ghanaian life has been lost. No Ghanaian has been physically assaulted. We've ensured that our people from Ghana are being protected in the best possible way that we have to ensure.
In the last few hours, we've heard Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa summon South African envoy here in the country. Have you had similar engagement with the South African government back in South Africa?
The first interaction that we had when this whole Buhaha started was to arrange a call between the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ghana and also the Minister in charge of Foreign Affairs, his counterpart here in South Africa. They had a very good discussion. They both reiterated the need to protect life and to ensure that the dignity of both citizens of the countries are protected. We have had several calls from the African Bureau Desk of DECO here, from Ambassador Sekolo, who has spoken to us several times to advise us on what to do and how to advise our Ghanaian citizens here. I can assure you that the diplomatic channels are fast working. There's no cause for alarm. The honorable ministers are doing what they have to do. The presidents at their level as well have done what they are supposed to do. And I can assure you that everything is going on well.
Mr. High Commissioner, thank you very much. That's Benjamin Kwashi. He's Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa. And that brings us to business. Winston Taki is here with the latest.
Now, coming up in business, Finance Minister reveals that Ghana's reset agenda hinges on financial health as he meets the United Nations Secretary General's Special Advocate for Financial Health. And Ghana Chamber of Mines reject claims of pressure from government to hand over mining concessions to local players. Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent, Charcoal and Herbal. We'll be back with the details.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Center Point Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Cast your mind back to 2022. The prices were rising. The stress was high. Every liter of fuel felt like a sacrifice. Do you remember who stepped forward first? When others were comfortable with high prices, Star Oil chose you. We cut our own profits so you could keep your AC on, keep your engines running, and keep your life moving without the heavy burden. We gave you room to breathe when things felt tight. Because of you, our star savers, we became #1. Today, the pumps are a battleground. Others are finally cutting prices because they have to. But Star Oil, we do it because we want to. Don't just chase a price, remember a friendship. We were there for you then, and with new innovations coming your way, we are here for you now. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
If you want quality, this be where you belong. Hey, tough, hey, strong. Oh, gonna shout and sing the song. When the sun they hot, syntax no break. When the rain they fall, still no shake. Builders they choose and plumbers they prove. Any project you they start.
When I say ABSA, you say yes. ABSA Bakiti, we go say yes this 2026 till your jobs start dropping down. Yes, you listening to me right now. I know you get dreams. A work is here, and they work it well. Like me, I want to buy that Porsche car I've been dreaming of. I move into my dream house. No landlord will say me. Join the ABSA family and let's help you say yes to your dreams with tailored banking solutions from loans, mortgages, credit cards to digital banking and more. Make 2026 the year of yes with ABSA. Your story matters.
Every mosquito study run away.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to Business News on News 9, brought to you by MTN, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Centers Tanks, and Pepsodent, Charcoal and Herbal. My name is Winston Taki. Let's settle for the details. Finance Minister Kesela Tuforsen has underscored the centrality of financial health in the country's economic transformation following an high-level engagement with Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, who also serves as the United Nations Secretary's Special Advocate for Financial Health. Here's more in this report.
Dr. Forsen said the meeting went well, disclosing that discussions moved beyond traditional notions of finance to focus on how financial systems can genuinely empower individuals. According to him, the conversation went beyond finance in its narrow sense with a focus on financial inclusion and more profoundly about financial health, where individuals are not merely connected to the financial system but are empowered by it. Dr. Forsen emphasized that Ghana's economic philosophy is evolving to prioritize the experiences of citizens rather than relying solely on macroeconomic indicators. He explained that the government reset agenda is guided by a clear framework, ensuring that macroeconomic stability translates into tangible benefits for households.
That was a News Desk report. Turning to the extractive sector, the Ghana Chamber of Mines says some of its members are negotiating the possible transition of services currently operated by foreign companies to indigenous firms. This follows recent report directing mining companies such as Newmont and Anglo-Gold Ashanti to cede portion of their operations to local contractors or face sanctions. Ken Ashigbe is the chief executive of the chamber and has been speaking on the sidelines of the launch of the Grinding Media Standards Initiative held in collaboration with the Ghana Standards Authority to enforce standards in the sector.
Definitely, this issue about contract mining is an engagement that has been going on between MINCOM and our members, and even ourselves. The chamber has been involved. You know, there's a conversation going on where between us and the Minerals Commission, and there are various dynamics to all of this. And so when you get somebody tell you one thing and then you slap all of that down as if, you know, the Minerals Commission is coming down, is going to shut down mines and all of that, then you lose it, you know. And I think that it's important that for all of us as journalists, you know, we look into that and put some of these things into better perspective. The thing about it is that there's a conversation that currently is going on between myself and the CEO of the Minerals Commission. There's a government policy in there, but again, how do you do it? You need to do it in such a way that is not disruptive.
Engineer Kenneth Gyasi, the CEO of the Chamber of Mines. In the banking sector, Republic Bank Ghana PLC has declared a dividend of 5 Ghana pesos per share after recording a total profit of 287.94 million cedis for the 2025 financial year. Speaking at the bank's 35th annual general meeting, Managing Director Benjamin Joboku said measures are in place to sustain the bank growth momentum.
Yeah, if you look at the results, last year we declared 211 million and this year 288 million. It's largely driven because we have 5-year strategies, and these 5-year strategies, we are looking at the SME. So if you look at our SME, the growth was about 2.9%, and then we are also focused on the mortgage. This year and then going forward is going to be challenged in the sense that if you look at the drop in the interest rate, and then also the Ghana reference rate has dropped drastically. Now it's about 10.1%, and that is a challenge. But because Republic Bank, we are very diverse, I think we welcome the challenge.
That was the Managing Director of Republic Bank, Dr. Benjamin Joboku. Meanwhile, the President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Kofi Nsiah-Poku, is urging the Bank of Ghana to establish clearer and more transparent rules governing access to finance. He noted that improving clarity in lending conditions and strengthening accountability between banks and businesses are key to easing financial constraints. He made a call at an AGI Bank of Ghana sensitization workshop on borrowing and lending.
Indeed, macroeconomic stability has a positive bearing on lending rates. Access to finance remains a critical pillar for growth, expansion, and sustainability. However, access must be supported by clear rules, mutual accountability, and a shared understanding of rights and obligations.
Kofi Nsiah-Poku is the president of the Association of Ghana Industries. And finally, in the fisheries sector, the Global Fisheries and Resilience Action has launched a new initiative aimed at strengthening Ghana's fisheries industry through the effective implementation of existing laws. Speaking at the stakeholders workshop at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Country Director Socrates Segbo said the initiative seeks to support government in operationalizing the new Fisheries Act.
The core objective of the IZ project, which is sponsored by the Oak Foundation and Oceans 5, is to support the government to operationalize the new Fisheries Act, to ensure that the act is not just on paper, but is actually in practice addressing the issues identified within the fisheries sector.
That was the Country Director of Global Fisheries and Resilience Action, Socrates Segbo. That's all for the business news on Newsnight. My name is Winston Taki. Over to you, Kenneth Gyasi.
Thank you, Winston. Let's do sports.
And Black Stars coach Carlos Queiroz was officially unveiled as the new head coach of the Ghana national team on Thursday ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and has already laid out a bold vision for the team. Now, as part of his assurances, the 73-year-old emphasized that his ambition is to transform Ghana into a country of champions, citing that immense potential he sees within the squad as he begins his short-term mandate with the national side. Now, we spoke to some of our fellow journalists at the press conference who shared their impressions of the new coach and the message he delivered.
He constantly said he was a winning manager, but he didn't know what defensive football was or what attacking football was. If the team loses the ball, they are recovering the ball, they have the ball, they are attacking. He spoke about the experiences he's had and the fact that he thinks that Ghana has got the ability to go to the World Cup and make a statement. He's not too eager to look into the future. He wants to take it a game at a time and then focus on the short-term job that he has on the hand. Yeah.
Well, I think he's experienced. He knows what he's about. He won't give so much away. He knows he needs to measure his expectations. He won't say something that will be used against against him, knowing that, the magnitude of the task ahead is very great. He will take all the time in the world to steady the ship before he comes out to make certain pronouncements. And I like that. That is what you get from someone who is experienced, who has handled teams in similar situations.
Ghana is rich in history too. Ghana is also a giant just like Egypt in Africa. And I think considering the fact that he was with Iran, if you look at, people try and look at the percentage or the winning percentage, but hey, I think if you look at the quality properly and you compare it to that of what we have right now and the proper structures of a really top manager, I think they can do well.
So that's our colleague journalists sharing their thoughts on the impressions they made of Carlos Queiroz's first press as new Black Stars coach. Did he make any impression?
Not at all.
You didn't make any impression?
Not at all.
Oh, why?
I don't want to say anything.
PTSD?
Yeah, from years back.
Utuado and other coaches have said
I am not the least convinced that he can do anything.
I mean, he says he has to win. He's here to win.
4 World Cups, 3 wins.
Allow. This is the Black Stars, so maybe it might improve.
Let's see.
All right, so that's it, Kenneth.
Thank you very much. The White Volta once fed the Northeast region. Now it floods it. Since 2008, annual spillage from Burkina Faso's Bagre Dam has turned the region's agricultural promise into yearly displacement and debt. Farmlands vanish underneath. Harvests turn to loans, livelihoods wash away. Today, survivors are demanding one thing, a non-partisan commitment to build the Pualugu multi-purpose dam to end the cycle. Isaac Nonya reports in today's Climate Evidence.
The Northeast region is defined by its rural landscape. It's a mix of vast mountains and rocky terrain that limits farming to specific fertile areas. However, these same limited areas have become the epicenter of a recurring disaster. For the residents here, climate change isn't a theory. It is the site of their homes and livelihoods dissolving into the White Volta. Among those picking up the pieces is 60-year-old Abanga.
In 2025, thereabout, we realized that within a trickle of an eye, our farm was being flooded, and we asked, and they said it's from the Bagre Dam. And actually, fact, it affected the whole of our crops, our maize, our cowpea, and all those things, and it has affected even our income.
The source of the water is the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso. Completed in 1992, this 1.7 billion cubic meter giant was built to power Ouagadougou and irrigate 30,000 acres of Burkinabe farmland. Climate, agricultural, and food economic experts argue that emergency responses are no longer enough of an intervention. Professor Assar Mohammed of the University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Navrongo and Dr. Adnan Safiu of the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Economics with the University for Development Studies (UDS) insist the solution must be structural and shielded from partisan politics.
There have been a series of concerns about how Ghana is. Yes, the other countries are a bit not worried because we are the downstream, so we should have been more serious. But as we speak, if you look at the activities on the Volta, even if you just cross Burkina Faso, if I take one of the tributaries, that's the White Volta, and then it enters Ghana through the Sapelgada, the Boku side. If you just cross Burkina to the Burkina side, you see how the river is protected, and they call it the Nakambe, how the Nakambe is protected. You will be very surprised why just across Ghana, we cannot just learn from what we over there.
Isaac Nonya's report for Joy News.
This story is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with CDK in Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund.
President John Mahama has expressed concern about how chieftaincy and land disputes have become major sources of conflicts in the country. Speaking during a courtesy visit by the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, he disclosed that government will begin work on 3 regional hospitals in the new regions this year and will cut soil for the construction of 3 others next year.
But one area of concern is security and conflict. And we realize that a major contributor to conflicts across the country is also the chieftaincy institution and issues of land boundaries. We believe that it's something that we need to work with the National House of Chiefs and the Regional House of Chiefs on. The 1992 Constitution barred government from interfering in chieftaincy matters, and it said that issues of chieftaincy disputes should be handled by the chiefs themselves. But it looks like it is difficult. Government only intervenes when law and order breaks down, but we cannot interfere in the customs and usages of the chieftaincy institution.
That's President John Mahama there, and that's it for News 9. Don't forget to do the 2, brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Kenneth Gyasi.